Yo, what's poppin' gamers? Welcome back to a brand new bad business video. Today I have a top 5 best assault rifles list for you guys. The last time we actually did this was March 16th, 2021. Now we're doing it March 21st, 2022. So a little over a year ago. And I'm going to be honest with you, there's only one weapon still on this list that was in our last one. So you guys are getting a whole new weapon list here. Our like goal for today is 1,000 likes. And if we do hit that like goal, it'll let me know that you guys do want a top 5 submachine guns as well. I did that a little over a year ago. And we've had a ton of new SMGs and revamps added to the game since then. So I would love to do another top 5 for that. So if you guys want to see that video, make sure you guys hit the like button down below. And lastly, before we hop into this list, I just want to remind you guys, this is my personal preference of what weapons I like and I personally enjoy using over other ones that I find the top 5 best. Along with the top 5 list, I'm also giving you guys a setup for each one of these weapons as well. If you guys disagree with anything, or if you want to put your top 5 list down below in the comments, I'd love to see your guys' top 5 list, and I'm sure other people might like to see them as well. So make sure you guys do leave some comments down below. Anyways, with that said, let's hop straight into this list. Coming at the number 4 spot is the AK-47. Last time we did the top 5 list, the AK wasn't revamped yet, but finally we do have a revamp for it. And man, I gotta tell you, the AK revamp is probably one of the better ones that we've had. My personal build that I'm using right now is actually different from my best AK-47 setup video on the channel. If you guys want to watch that one, it's more of like a fast-paced SMG sort of build for the AK, but I do have a new build, and it is the muzzle booster, the vertical grip, granulated tape, tactical stock, and lightweight. That's currently what we're using on this. It's not the greatest recoil control in the world, but it's about the best you can expect for an AK, and you can get this a little bit better by obviously throwing on a ranger grip instead of my vertical grip, but I like to have that increase of hip fire as well as also have some pretty decent recoil. But this build gets you a 95 mobility, which is actually really good for assault rifles, especially after the mobility nerf that assault rifles got. So this definitely is very good for fast-paced players, so I definitely do recommend it. Coming at the number 4 spot is the only weapon that survived my last top 5, which is the M4A1. In my opinion, this is probably my favorite weapon in the game. It's honestly a lot of fun to use. It's not the greatest gun. There is definitely something that's a little bit better that I can put in front of this, but this is more in my opinion based on the guns that I enjoy using as well as how I perform with them, and the M4 is at the top of that list. But the build that we have is the muzzle brake, the 50 round mag, vertical grip, no stock, and lightweight. Now this build is a ton of recoil control. It's very easy to control this overall. It has a very slow increase of vertical, and it's super easy to control that. So I definitely do recommend this if you guys want some low recoil builds. But again, like my other weapons, this is to keep a good damage as well as good mobility. So that's why I didn't put a barrel on. Plus, the barrel only gives you maybe a 20 stud increase if you throw on the marksman. I know a lot of people throw on the marksman, but I don't personally see the marksman barrel worth it for the M4 just because it's only a 20 stud difference, and it only increases your damage range, not your overall damage. So 20 studs to me isn't a lot. Most of the time I'm CQC, so that's why I'm not too worried about increasing my damage range. But yeah, that is my build for the M4A1, and like I said, this is the only weapon that stayed on my top 5 list from last year to now. Next up in the number 3 spot is the ARX-160. This is actually our only weapon in this entire list that doesn't have full capability of the attachments. So this one is not revamped yet, but the ARX actually competes really well with the M4 and actually outperforms it when it comes to range. But for the specific build I have on it is actually, in my opinion, the best that you can get for it. But we have the coyote sight, monolithic silencer, vertical grip, granulated tape, and sleight of hand. The recoil can be slightly intense on this as well, so if you guys want to decrease that a little bit more, you could always take off the monolithic, throw on that muzzle brake, or keep the monolithic and throw on the ranger grip instead. It's really up to you, but I think it's worth trying to work with my build and try to get good with this because it's really good for mobility overall and ADS speed, and you get that insane damage range. This is actually one of the higher outputting damages for headshot damage at range because you're almost hitting 200 studs for 45 damage per headshot. That is doing a crazy amount of damage. So about 190 studs out, you'll be doing 45 to the head, 34 to the torso, and 30 to limbs. So this means that it has the same exact damage stats as the M4, but much more range damage. I definitely recommend you guys to try out this ARX build and let me know down below in the comments if you guys would like to. Coming in at the number 2 spot is the AN94. I don't know if any of you guys expected me to put this in here, but man, is the AN94 really good. It's honestly one of my favorite weapons in the game currently, but I don't really put time into using it just because I don't have any videos based around it. So I don't get to use it too often. But for our build for this is the muzzle brake, 40 round magazine, ranger grip, minimum stock, and ramp mod. The ramp mod actually turns it into a burst to a automatic weapon. So I definitely recommend trying that out. And you could also switch that out for sleight of hand or maybe even an optic if you guys don't like the iron sights. The burst version of this without the full auto version is actually still really good. And the rate of fire is not too bad without the ramp mod as well. So just keep that in mind if you really want to switch those up. Yeah, but this recoil honestly isn't that bad. It has a slow vertical recoil rise. Makes it very easy to control. So I definitely recommend you guys trying this out. You can switch up some stuff if you would like to, but this build is built for me personally. Coming at the number 1 spot is definitely a weapon you guys probably didn't expect, but the G36. Now the reason why I'm putting this in here is for the upcoming update that Bad Business is doing, where they're adding a ton of buffs and nerfs to weapons in the game, and the G36 is probably getting one of the biggest buffs I've seen in a while. So that means I do not have a setup for you guys yet, but keep a lookout for a upcoming G36 video when this update does release, and I'll give you guys a setup in that video. But I will talk about the buff that G36 is about to get. So currently in the game, you can put on the blackout rounds, and the recoil is just atrocious. It's really not worth using. So what they're going to go ahead and do instead, they're going to be increasing the headshot damage from 45 to 48, the torso damage from 36 to 40, limb damage from 30 to 34. So this is getting a massive buff. And on top of that, they're also decreasing how much the recoil is from 3 to a 2.25, which is going to be a huge decrease in recoil, which is going to make blackout rounds a little bit more reliable. But the nerf that they're adding to this as well is changing the 700 rounds per minute from 700 to 640, which is going to be a pretty big nerf. They're also going to be nerfing the damage range, reducing it to 70%, which isn't going to be too big of a deal because you're still going to be doing massive damage. Like I said, I'm predicting this right now for this to be the new meta assault rifle. I'm saying that right now. So I'll let you guys know in my upcoming G36 video. This is actually the new meta, but that's just my prediction that we're going back to the G36 meta low rank, so we're destroying all of us. But yeah, that is my top 5 list. I really hope I'm right about this G36, or else I wasted that 5th spot on the list, but hopefully I'm right, which I think I'm going to be, but we'll see. I'd love for you guys to leave comments down below of your top 5 list so I can see what other people think is the best assault rifles. And also don't forget, our like goal for today is 1,000 likes, and if we do hit that, it tells me that you guys want a top 5 submachine guns, and I'll definitely do that as well. I also want to start being more helpful to the community by making best class setups, tips and tricks videos, as well as videos like this, because people really don't do too many of those type of videos on Bad Business. So I'd love to be more helpful to you guys. Anyways, with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.